The end of 100 vlogs in 100 days. That's going to be the topic of this episode of Qi Life. It's going to be a little bit of, I guess, a recap or a little bit of an overview of how it's been for me, and then also what next on the Qi Life YouTube channel. All right, so gonna let you in on a little secret right here now. It was actually a little bit over 100 days to get the 100 vlogs out. So there were a couple of times where, well, in order to, because I have to record the vlogs ahead of time and then edit them and tidy them up a little bit and upload them so they're ready to go. And I often record several vlogs at once and then put them up. And so all the way through, I always had a new vlog ready to publish. And sometimes it might have only been one, but I always had one ready to go. But in order to publish them, once they're uploaded, there's like, you've got to change this and change that and change the other thing. There's several different things you've got to click. And there were a couple of times where somehow I either clicked on the wrong thing or missed clicking on something. I thought I'd published one. And then I checked the next day. It's like, oh goodness, that one actually didn't go out. So a couple of days missed because of that. And then there was also once, and it was over the holiday period, where I managed to get myself somewhere where I wasn't able to get online and publish a vlog that day. Because I haven't scheduled them ahead. I've had vlogs ready to go, but then I've been putting them out manually each day. I've gone, okay, we'll put this one out today. And I wasn't able to do that. So it took a few more days than 100 days. But like I said, I always had at least one, if not several vlogs ready to go for the whole 100 days. And it's been 100 vlogs now. So I'm going to call that success. I think it's important in life to have parameters of success sometimes, to accept that, like, okay, might not be quite exactly as specified, but it's like, that's close enough. This is close enough, I think, for the purpose of this little project that I've been doing. And it's been an interesting experience. I guess, like, I knew it would be hard in some senses, because that's a lot of vlogs to do over that period of time. And probably the first 30 days or so, it was kind of like, this isn't so bad. And then it started to go like, oh boy, I've got to make some more vlogs. I've got to make some more vlogs to get through to the end. So in many ways at this point, I'm quite happy, quite relieved to finally have got to the end of the 100 vlogs. I'm not going to be keeping doing them every day at this point for a couple of reasons. A big one being simply how much time it takes. You know, you look at how long the vlog is, it takes longer than that, of course. I have to go somewhere to film it. Sometimes there's back and forth. Sometimes things go wrong with the filming and I have to do multiple takes. And sometimes the conditions aren't right. And so I don't even get to film and I have to redo it. And then it has to be, I'm not doing a lot of editing, but it has some editing to sort of put things together and tidy up the sound a little bit and then upload it. And you know, overall, it takes a decent chunk of time. And as you've noticed, I have recorded the vlogs often in batches. But even doing that, I'd say on average, to be able to do one vlog every day, that's probably a whole working day, like a whole, around 8 hours or so each week to do 7 vlogs for that week. And that's like really streamlined production. I'm not doing anything fancy here. But yeah, I'd say it probably averages at least an hour for all the bits and pieces for each individual vlog. And some more, some significantly more. And certainly if I was doing fancy, I think it would be a lot more. And that's a big chunk out of my week each week, to be putting that much time into the vlogs. And I'm busy with other stuff. It's taken quite a commitment to do this. It's something I wanted to do because I haven't paid a lot of attention to this Qi Life channel for quite a while. I've done a little bit here and there, but I wanted to really put some focus on it, put some effort in, and get things going there. But I can't put that much time ongoing and put the time that I need to into other things. So my big things at the moment are running the Qigong instructor certification courses, which there's quite a lot involved in that, and running the live sessions and just admin and one-on-one sessions with people and assessments, and it takes quite a lot to run those courses. And then also there's another quite major course that I want to get ready, and I haven't been able to put much time into it, and it takes a lot of time. Preparing those courses is a massive amount of work across many months generally to put that together, and I'm just not making progress with it because my time is too taken up with other things, and it's like I need to be able to dedicate time to that to get that done, to be able to put that out there and make it available to people. So that's a big reason. I just can't put that much time into it. Another reason is it's been interesting in terms of this, well, project / experiment, to see what the response has been like. And I've had good response from quite a number of people saying they're watching the vlogs, or, from time to time they're trying to catch up with them. They're not able to watch them all because there's so many of them, or, it'll take them time to get through all of them. But people have contacted me and told me how much they appreciate them, they find them interesting, they've been helping them. So that's cool. But then at the same time, looking at the overall viewership on the channel, it's gone up a little bit, but not a lot. And certainly for each video, it hasn't gone up. And if anything, it's down on each video quite a bit. And that's, I think, because there's been so much volume of videos, and probably over time, little by little, each video will get more views, and, it'll catch up over time maybe. But it was interesting to experiment with this, because one of the things that people used to say about, the algorithm that is behind YouTube and it's behind different social media platforms deciding what to show to different people, is that often simply by posting more frequently, the algorithm will put it out to more people, and, and that leads to more people finding whatever it is you're putting out. And I haven't really found that to be the case, or certainly not in a big significant way. And again, maybe it will catch up over time. But yeah, simply posting more often doesn't really seem to have had that effect. So that then leaves me thinking, well, if I want to use this social media platform effectively, I should probably rethink how I do that to make it the most effective that it can be. Now, again, so one reason, I just don't have that much time to put into it to post that regularly. Another, I probably need to refocus. So moving forwards with this channel, this Qi Life channel, I will continue to make some vlogs of the nature that have made up most of the 100, where I'm just talking about a topic or answering a question that someone has sent in about something about Qigong or energy, or, something like that. Because I do think they're helpful. People tell me they're helpful. People get benefit from them. So it's worth continuing to do that. It's not going to be one a day, though. It's going to be less often. And for those of you who have maybe sent in some questions as part of the 100 days of vlogs, quite a lot of those I've answered and made vlogs about over those 100 days. There are a few that I haven't yet, and I'll keep them on a list, and there's a good chance I'll get to them at some point, and I'll make a video and talk about whatever the topic was that you suggested. So, look out for that in the future. But I'll probably also look at, looking at shaping the content in some different ways as well. And there's a few options around that. Because some of you may be aware that I have more than one YouTube channel. How many should I tell you about? I'm not active on any of the others. This is the only one I'm active on at the moment. But there's a separate YouTube channel which is for Long White Cloud Qigong, specifically Long White Cloud Qigong. And the intention initially, and kind of still is for this Qi Life channel to be a little bit different from the Long White Cloud Qigong channel, in that the Long White Cloud Qigong channel will focus much more on the practices, on things specifically to do with the practices, demonstrating things and so on like that. And maybe things around events that are specific to Long White Cloud Qigong and things as well, but that channel will be specifically about that. And that the Qi Life would be a lot more background things. And it's turned into a lot of talking about different topics, which again I think is fine. But the original intention was that there'd be a bit more about life in there as well. Just what's going on in the background, behind the scenes, what I'm doing, maybe if I'm traveling, where I'm going, what's happening with preparing a course, or, anything like that. Maybe if I'm meeting interesting people, maybe some things around that. And I guess I'd like to, over time, put more focus on both of those things. I think there's a certain type of content on social media that it's really valuable to offer, because social media can be such a great way to reach people and to give them things in a really easily accessible form. And a lot of the content talking about these topics that's been on Qi Life recently is sort of pitched at a certain level of people with, I guess, largely a certain degree of interest in Qigong, and probably already a certain amount of experience with Qigong, and they're curious about some practical questions or some little details or things. And, it's kind of pitched at that level, that sort of audience. But there's another type of content which is more than just demonstrating particular movements or things like that, that is maybe more suited to a much wider, more general audience. And so I think it'll be worthwhile to produce more of that sort of thing. I haven't done any of that in quite a while. I have a certain amount of it, but it was done quite some time ago on the Long White Cloud Qigong channel. And it's likely that when I get to doing more of that in the future, that's the channel that will be on. It'll be over there. And yeah, and this Qi Life one will be more of those sort of background, behind the scenes things, and just talking about different things. Sometimes there won't be too much that's all that interesting to make videos about in terms of behind the scenes, because like when I'm working on preparing a course, a lot of that is sitting in front of a laptop and writing and reading and doing things, and it's not that interesting to make a video about, really. There's a fair amount of introspective thought and pondering that goes on as well. And again, I don't know how much people would enjoy videos maybe of me gazing thoughtfully into the distance, maybe not so interesting either. But sometimes there are more interesting things to make videos about. Things like when I'm traveling somewhere and teaching some workshops or meeting interesting people. So for example, there was a tiny bit of that in these last 100 days when I went to Melbourne and met up with some instructors there and talked to them and taught some workshops. And so cool. So I made a few vlogs about that. And I'm planning, I don't have a set plan yet, but I'm planning on there being a lot more of that in the coming year and beyond that as well, in future years as well. And that will be maybe interesting to make videos about, as well as these talking about different topics. I might also possibly look back to getting the Qi Life podcast going again as well. And that was where I did some in-depth interviews. They typically were about an hour. Some of them were shorter, with interesting people who are doing interesting things. And that's something I enjoy. So I'd like to do that again. I don't know how soon I'll do it. I don't know how soon I'll do a lot of these different things. And that is, again, simply because I'm really busy with getting the course material ready for some of the Qigong courses and things. And it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort, a lot of energy. I do need to, in terms of keeping myself balanced and healthy, also have some time for social interaction and things like that. And it's really easy to let that all go by the board if I'm just got too much that I'm trying to do. So, yeah, but that's sort of how things are likely to shape up in the future. At the right time, when that will be, I'm thinking there's probably not going to be a huge amount of some of these things until I've actually got this course material ready for this next course that I'm working on. So that course it's on Qigong Healing. So specifically the direct application of working with energy as a healing modality. So not just doing exercises for circulating energy and balancing it within yourself, but actually working on other people. And that's a really valuable thing. I'm really looking forward to making that available to people, because it's not a common skill, but you can help people so much with that. So I'm really looking forward to that. But again, it's a process. There's a lot of work involved, and so I'll probably be putting some other stuff aside until I've at least largely got a lot of that ready, perhaps. And then I'll be able to put more effort into some of the other things like the podcast and other things as well. So we'll see how that all pans out over the next little while. But that's the overall general direction of things. Qi Life, I'll still make videos talking about topics as we have. It just won't be as often. I'll do them from time to time. And there'll probably be more sort of behind the scenes kind of videos as there are interesting things to show you that you might be interested in seeing. And yeah, eventually maybe the podcast again. And then at some point on the Long White Cloud Qigong channel, I would like to get back into producing some of the content, some of the videos, more just around individual practices and things like that people can follow along with for a much broader general audience. So anyway, I hope if you're watching this one, there's a good chance that maybe you've seen a selection of the last vlogs over the last 100 days. I hope you've enjoyed some of them. I hope it's given you maybe some benefit. I think, like I said, even though the viewership hasn't been all that high on some of the videos during those 100 days, I think over time people will find them, and often it will be people who are looking for an answer to a particular question they have. And so I think there's real value in that. And I also sometimes when people email me questions and things like that, often I can write them a short answer, but maybe not as comprehensive an answer as would be helpful to them. It's just not practical for me to always do that. And so sometimes what I'll do is I'll write them a short answer, and then if I've made a video about the topic, I'll say, hey, and if you want to know more, you might want to check out this video. And so I think some of those vlogs will be useful for that as well. All right, it's been a pleasure having you on this journey over the last little bit over 100 days. I hope you continue to follow the channel. Again, it won't be updated as often, but that you'll find interesting things that are helpful to you from time to time. And yeah, I look forward to interacting with you going forwards.